B, Killer Bees. It's Paula B from PaulaBFitness.com, where you always find fun workouts and friendly encouragement. And welcome to the Let's Run podcast. You guys, today we are going for a great 2, maybe even 3 mile walk and run with 1-minute intervals. And we're talking about everybody's favorite topic, losing fitness. I know, nobody wants to think about this, right? But I actually have some really important information for you about how and why we lose fitness, and even better than that, what you can do about it. Make sure you get warmed up, and when you're ready, I'm ready. Let's run. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get moving and grooving. Now, here's the dealio. I've got the handy dandy gym boss here, set for intervals of 1 minute. And like always, you can do whatever you want with that minute. I'm going to go ahead and get going and start walking. Now, I say like always, but the fact is this might be your first time here with the Let's Run podcast or a walk run workout with me. And first of all, welcome. Hi, I'm Paula B. This is what we do on Tuesdays. We walk, we talk, we run a little bit or not. It's always up to you to get whatever kind of workout you want to get out of these walk run workouts. It really depends on where you are with your walk run journey. I've been running for a long time, but sometimes I still like to take walking breaks, especially because honestly, the walking, the running, yeah, it's a great workout, but really what we're doing here is we're having a conversation about fitness. Now, sometimes it's about losing weight, sometimes it's about running, sometimes it's about mental health, mindset. We cover a variety of topics, and if you stick around, you'll find that they're all kind of related, because mental fitness is fitness. Whether or not you're trying to lose weight or trying to learn how to run, I'm going to go ahead and, speaking of running, hey, that was really good timing. I'm going to pick it up to a run. I'm going to go back and forth between walking and running today. You can walk the whole time, run the whole time, walk for 2 intervals and run for 1, run for 2 intervals and walk for 1, whatever works for you. And it can change even during the workout. You know, knowing yourself and knowing your body and knowing where your limits are and trying to push them sometimes, that's actually exactly what we do around here. So welcome. Like I said, I do hope that you'll join us again. Make sure you click the subscribe button wherever you are on iTunes or SoundCloud or YouTube watching the video. So you guys, today we're talking about the changing nature of your fitness and how sometimes even if you've been fit for a long time, you might lose fitness. And I know that that's like super duper frustrating and kind of not everybody's favorite topic, but I feel like it's an important one. And I feel like it's an important one for a couple of reasons. Partly because, to be brutally honest with you, I'm in a weird place with my fitness right now. And that's why it's been really on my mind lately. I hear it from you, from comments or over on, my Facebook private group, the Killer Beehive, and there's a link in the description if you'd want to come and join that, because it's a great place where we have awesome conversations about all kinds of stuff. But this is something that I am personally dealing with. And so it's something that I kind of wanted to talk about to let you know that you're not alone. If you're in a weird place with your fitness where things are changing and you used to be better off, or you're not meeting your goals right now, that you're not alone. I mean, that's actually, in a broad way, always what I'm here for, is to let you know that no matter what you're dealing with, somebody else is dealing with it too. But this one specifically, there are times in our lives when we will gain fitness, and there are times in our lives when we will lose fitness. And I think that is something that, honestly, most fitness trainers just don't talk about. We're always talking about pushing forward and meeting new goals. And yet, it is an absolute fact of life that sometimes your fitness is going to be lower than it was before. And okay, so how and why this would happen? There are lots of reasons why. One of them is honestly, it's simple biology. There is, like in everything in the world, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring it down to a walk again, there is a bell curve. And I will be honest that The bell curve was really only good for me back in high school chemistry when it would raise my grade a little bit, but that bell curve actually affects like pretty much everything in your life. There is always some kind of average that you will be for everything. And fitness goes like a bell curve like this. Like the first approximately half of your life, you're going to be going up, 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 up. And then the second half of your life, there's a gradual decline in fitness. Now, this is relative. For example, somebody like me, I didn't even really get fit until I was somewhere around that middle of the bell curve. So I spent my years going up the bell curve, not really maximizing that fitness. So for me personally, even though I'm on the other side of that slope, I'm actually still capable of, making fitness gains and, running faster or losing weight or doing things that I didn't do when I was younger, personally. But the fact is, my potential at, let's say 20 years ago, my potential at age 28 was significantly higher than my potential now at 48 because I'm on that downward slope. And I know that I use that phrase, downward slope, and that sounds so tragic, like, oh, it's only downhill from here. And I don't mean that to sound tragic, but I do mean that to sound realistic. Depending on where you are on your bell curve, depending on how old you are, you have a potential of where you can be fitness-wise. And the fact is, if you were meeting your potential, if you are like me on the downward slope, if you were meeting your potential at the apex, the likelihood is that even if you are meeting your potential right now, it's gonna feel like less. It's gonna feel like you're not as fast, or you're not as strong, or not as fit, or not as capable in different ways. And it's super frustrating. But I want you to know that in addition to, the big bell curve, there's also lots of little undulations that we go through in our lives. Biology has a lot, biology is going to win in the end. I mean, biology always, always, always has the final word with everything we do. But along the way, there are lots of reasons why, like socially or emotionally, why you might not be where you once were or where you want to be. And that's a little bit more of what I'm talking about today. In the future, I would love actually to have a podcast, and it's kind of funny, I hadn't really thought about it until right this minute, but I would really like to address getting older and fitness and how you can maximize your potential at any age. Because again, being on the downward slope of that bell curve, that is something that I think about a lot too. Like, how much longer can I be fit? And how fit can I expect to be for how much longer? But my real point today, the thing that was really truly on my mind today, is that right now, for me personally, I'm in a weird place with my fitness. And I know why. It is emotional. I am deep in the trenches of grief right now. And my ability to push myself is really limited. My ability to care, frankly, about my fitness, even though it is my job and something that I care about greatly, it's still at a little bit of a diminished capacity right now. And I actually do have, speaking of future podcasts, I do really want to talk about the relationship of grief and your fitness, because that is truly... It's a big topic. It's a really big topic, and it's something that I also think that fitness trainers really don't talk about. Like, grief is physical, and I'm going to leave it at that for right now, because the fact is there are lots of reasons why you might be in a weird place with your fitness right now. You might be going through all kinds of transitions. I mean, grief is one of them, but there are so many transitions that we go through in our lives, like constantly. And I think I tend to think of the ones where you lose fitness as being like times when you're kind of struggling, like when you've moved or started a new job or trying to finish up with school, getting divorced, kids moving out of the house, which is the other thing I'm going through right now. I'm on my way to being an empty nester, and that's a weird transition too, where your mind is just, it's not in the same place that maybe it was when things were moving along smoothly. And so being mindful of the kinds of transitions that you might be going through, first of all, I want to reassure you that wherever you are with your fitness right now is actually never your final destination until your final destination. But your entire life up until that end point, your fitness is going to change way more times than you think. And I mean that as good news, because we're looking at the big picture, but I understand that might not sound like good news, because I think a lot of us think, if, for example, your goal is to lose weight. I know when I was trying to lose weight, I really had this thing in my mind, like it was a destination. Like once I got there, that everything would be different, that everything would be easier, that there would be basically nothing more to figure out, nothing more to worry about, and that I would just be thin, and I would stay thin, and that would be it. Which, okay, it's kind of ironic, honestly, because I am a girl who has gained and lost weight like a dozen times in my life for various reasons. I mean, 2 of those things were pregnancy, but some of them were just, like when I was a teenager, I got chubby, then I got skinny, then I got chubby again, then I got skinny, then I got married and got chubby again, then I got skinny again, then I got pregnant, then I got skinny again, then I got pregnant again, then I got skinny again. I went back and forth so many times that it's funny to me that it ever occurred to me that being thin was done. It's not. Spoiler alert, it's not. Once you lose the weight, you still have the rest of your life ahead of you to make choices every single day that affect your health, your fitness, your weight, your goals, your everything. And that also, good news, means that if you are not currently where you think you'd like to be, excuse me, my microphone is kind of funking around in here. But if you are not currently where you think you want to be, you can make different choices and get to a different place. But it also means that even after you have made really good choices for a really long time, if you start making different choices, that, not that it can all go away, that sounds so dramatic, but you could be in a place where your fitness feels different, where it feels less, where it feels more difficult. And it'll come back around, or it can come back around, even when you feel like you've been in the trough for a while. And there's both some physical aspects to this, and for me, more importantly, I think, are the mental aspects of it. When we are at a place, the royal we, when I am currently in a place where my fitness is diminished from where it used to be a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, all of the above. There are 2 things that I have found myself thinking. Number 1, I have completely idealized where I was. Oh my God, sorry, here's my microphone. I'm just gonna tuck this into my pants now. Let's see if that works any better. I'm having a rough time trying to find a place for my microphone in this particular outfit. These are the things you never think about unless you're on YouTube, right? But I have completely idealized the kind of fitness that I had before. There's this thing in my mind where I'm like, man, a year ago, I never felt like my stomach was hanging over my pants. I never felt bad. I never felt bloated. I never felt XYZ. Fill in the blank with any unrealistic expectation you might have about being thin. The fact is, a year ago right now, even though I was in much better shape than I am right now, I still had rough days. I still had fat days. I still thought about what I was eating and what I was doing every single day the same way I am now. So in addition to idealizing the past, we also kind of either idealize the future or feel like we'll never get to a better point than where we are right now. So the two ways that we can go on that, and I have been guilty of both of these too, looking forward to the future and thinking, oh man, all I have to do is like lose 3 pounds and start working out more and everything's going to be better again. And I will tell you that is not realistic. That even if that's where I was mentally, you know, thinking about my weight or thinking about working out harder or any of that, still wouldn't change my immediate circumstances, like where I am with grief. So idealizing that making some changes to your body is automatically going to make changes to your mind or your circumstances, obviously that's unrealistic when I say it out loud, you know, like it's one of those things where it's always so clear when somebody else says something unreasonable that you're like, yeah, that's totally unreasonable. But then when you feel it yourself, you're like, but no, for me it'll be different. I'm here to tell you it's not going to be different for you. Where you are mentally and emotionally affects your body, and your body affects your emotions. But simply losing weight or running a marathon or whatever your goal is isn't automatically going to change how you feel about things. It's not going to fundamentally change who you are as a person. It can shift you, you know, maybe one notch this way or something. I'm thinking specifically of running a marathon. Okay, for me, running a marathon like did change a lot for me, but it did not change who I am fundamentally. So, but idealizing the future like that isn't super helpful for reaching your goals. And neither is the opposite of it, that thing where we feel like, man, well, I'm fat now, so I'm just always going to be fat. This is it. I'm done. And nothing I ever do is ever going to make a difference, and I might as well just give up. And honestly, that is every bit as unrealistic and unreasonable as thinking that everything is going to change. Here's an interesting fact to chew on. Your body is changing all the time. Even if you do the exact same thing, eat the exact same foods, and have the exact same routine, you are going to be different in a year than you are right now. Because other things will change. Even if you're at the same job, even if you're in the same marriage, even if you're living in the same house, something will change. Something that is outside of your control. Somewhere in your family, somewhere in your community, somewhere, something will change that will affect you physically. And so, rather than thinking all or nothing, my real advice for you here today is to think real small for a little while. If you're not where you want to be for one reason or another, if you have lost fitness for one reason or another, some of those outlying ideas and focus on a couple of things. I actually have a couple of pieces of advice for this. Focus on what you can do today is where I'm going to start with this. Because what you do today will help you do something tomorrow. It will bridge the gap between whatever used to be and whatever will be. Doing something tiny. Something like going for a walk and a run with me, for example. Something like just remembering to drink enough water. Something like thinking about getting enough sleep. Something can help you focus on the fact that every single day for the rest of your life, you're going to have to make choices. You're going to have to choose priorities. You're going to have to do certain actions that affect your health. And by kind of narrowing down your focus, it'll help you realize the bigger picture in a bigger way, that where you are is simply where you are right now. That it's okay to be where you are right now. Imagine, and this is something that I think about actually. I think about people who have been like super fit their whole lives. And the reason I think about this actually, so my youngest son just graduated from high school. And my older son graduated 2 years ago, and they both competed like at a pretty high level in running sports, because we are a family of runners. And both of them had to accept that, and this sounds really dramatic, but I'll say it anyways, that they are never going to be this fast ever again. And the thing is, they might be, I mean, again, with circumstances, they might very well train this hard and run this fast really for the next several years. I mean, they're boys. They have several more years to improve and get better and get faster if they train this hard. But specifically, neither one of them has gone on to like a collegiate running career, meaning that they are transitioning from having a coach and having a team to what I call adult running, meaning that they're running for themselves. They are in charge of their own training. They're in charge of setting their own goals. They're in charge. They're adults. I mean, that's a weird statement. My children are adults. Anyway, so they're kind of going through that mental transition of my best days are behind me, even though they may or may not be. It's an acceptance of where you are that helps you set future goals. And coming back to me, which hopefully relates a little bit more to you than like a teenage boy who runs really fast in high school, but wherever you might be right now, where I am right now, isn't the finish line for me. Because of my circumstances, like really, really specifically, I feel like getting through the first year of grief, I just gotta feel the feels and let things happen. My body's gonna do what it's gonna do, and I kind of just have to ride it out. And I assume that whatever transition you're going through probably feels the same way. Like you just kind of gotta put your head down and get through this thing that you're getting through right now. But there's something on the other side. And that something could be anything. And that's the thought that I'm going to kind of cruise on out with. We're going to finish this running one, and I'm going to do one more walking interval to kind of cool us down a little bit. But this is the little glimmer of hope that I want to give you and give myself. That whatever you're going through right now, wherever your fitness is, if it feels like you are simply the least fit you have ever been in your entire life, and here we go with our last walking interval, that there are choices that you can make that will get you someplace else. Not back. Back is back. That's not where we're going. But forward into something different kind of means that you can set any goal you want. That rather than tying yourself down to, I used to be able to run a 5K in X amount of time, how about now I'm going to climb mountains? How about now I'm going to lift heavy things? Or how about now I'm going to run a 5K at my current best? You know, the things that you love to do might still be the same things, but that doesn't mean that you have to hold yourself to the same standard. You can be any kind of fit that you want to be. You can be, and I'm going to go ahead and call it done, you can be fit right now, even if this doesn't feel fit. This is your fitness right now. And that's the best that it's going to be right now. So let's celebrate that. And let's talk about that. You know, my favorite thing about the Let's Run podcast is how this is a conversation. And I love to hear from you what you think about the things that I've brought up. Because if I'm just talking to the camera, I'm just talking to the camera. I like it when we have a two-way conversation. Either you can leave a comment on SoundCloud or iTunes or on YouTube. Like I said, your invitation is open to come over to Facebook and join the private Facebook group. I love to hear from you about the things that we're talking about, because having the conversation, well, first of all, it helps me with future podcasts. Let me be truly honest with that. The things that you say to me bring up ideas for me to talk about the next time that we have this conversation. But also, I love to hear from you because it helps me kind of not feel so alone too. So thank you so much for walking and running with me today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.